since I did it all last year,
Does it have to be human?
what do you mean?
I'm just like a big fan of using these apps that they can like record it.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't have one on my phone, but I don't.
You don't?
There's usually rules about that kind of stuff.
Are we allowed to do that?
To,
Like, have a, yeah, I guess, it's being recorded.
yeah, it's being recorded, there's nothing wrong.
Okay, great.
I'll play it on my phone.
What app is this, so I could maybe?
Okay, what time is it? 7:08. So let's get started. I'm Vanessa Raptopoulos, I'm the chair. But before we get started, I know Fred wants to say a few words.
Absolutely,
Okay.
very quickly, and you probably heard me before, I just want to be loud for the camera as well, for recording. Welcome back, I hope everyone had a great summer. My name is Fred Baptiste, I'm the chair of Brooklyn Community Board. I just want to say thank you for your service, in terms of not finding it robbery to come in and try and make an impact on our community in this way, joining the Committee for Economic Development. I think this is going to be an exciting year. I want to say that our chair is phenomenal. She's really coming with some passion and some energy and some ideas. And just looking around the table, I see a lot of talent, a lot of people are passionate about the district as well. And I see so many great things coming out of the district. So I'll keep it brief. We're really going to do it for 15 minutes, but you're not sitting down. We'll let you get to your day. I think the only PSA I do want to add is that for this month, one of the things we are looking at doing, and I told you before, in terms of we want to actually do a community engagement / district needs workshop. So part of what we do in the committees is that we advocate for the community. But part of what's helping us to get that community engagement in terms of what do we see as issues in the district. So, is it lighting? Is it business improvement districts? How do we get one started? Is it commercial rents? What can we do to affect policy or make recommendations? And there's a list that I'm sure will go on and on that you will generate and be able to work on. So that's going to happen at that meeting. I believe we're scheduled right now for September 26th. So it'll be after the general board. But the idea is to be able to have that for your next meeting in October. So that way you can look it over and compare with what your thoughts are to see if there were any items that you think, oh, no, this would really be a good item for us to tackle as a committee for this. The only note I'll say is, to the committees, the board, it all works when we're here and we're present. So understanding, life happens, and we don't always have the opportunity, we're not able to make every meeting. Please make sure you're communicating with the chair and communicating with the office. But please make every effort to come too, because we do miss your presence. And also when we have significant absence as well, that affects our ability to have quorum and do the business efficiently as well. But I will close it on that. And just close it on thank you and looking forward to working with all of you. And if there's any questions or anything, please never hesitate to reach out to me or the council.
Quick question, the district needs that you're talking about, is this like a document that's already happened? Are we filling out surveys now?
We are going to be going into another cycle. So the district needs assessment is a document that by the city charter we create every year. So part of what we wanted to do is make sure we take this opportunity to inform that. So as a committee, you can start thinking about that now. So if there are things you need to be, you want to see done, funding you want to see done, programs, projects, whatever it is, this is an opportunity to kind of start brainstorming that. And again, to kind of get ideas from the public as well. And I think also what's helpful with that is when we get to the budgeting processes, you'll see that a number of our council members have participatory budgeting. So this might be the time where we can start thinking about things we want to start asking people to put money towards. So, that's just the flavor of that. We'll definitely talk about it a little bit more on the 26th. And, we'll try and make sure we're communicating that as well. But thank you for that question. And what you want, does anybody have a question right now as I'm here? Or? Okay, then we are good. Thank you, everyone, again.
Thanks.
And
Thank you.
Appreciate that.
I'll be back.
Great, okay, so, the rules are easy, don't be rude to people, you guys know how it works. We don't really have a contentious committee, so some other committees are a little more. But I just wanted to go through, everybody introduce themselves, say why you're here, like why are you interested in economic development, where your base is around the district. And then we can kind of get started. I'm Vanessa Raptopoulos. I own a gift shop called Awesome on Flatbush. I got on the community board last year, and and started sharing this to me like half a year ago. So I'm on it because I wanted to like see things happen in our neighborhood that were not happening.
Awesome. I'm Julie. I've lived in the neighborhood for almost 10 years now. I moved out here from California, and this was like my place while I was in school and just never left. I was not the most involved and was put on to some good advice and started showing up to the meetings and just like slowly took it from there. And here we are, slowly but surely, still figuring things out. Yeah.
My name is Lisa. I'm a 69 member. I started coming to the for a while now, and I'm just looking to try to make an impact in my neighborhood. I'm from the eastern southern part of Crown Heights, which is, I think, lacking a lot of good businesses. So that's it.
My name is Anthony Day. I've been a resident of the area for about 16 years now. I came to this committee because as a child I've always been interested in businesses and starting businesses, things like that, always looking for the right resources. And when you're starting out, it's really hard to find. It's really hard to get that help, especially in a neighborhood. And this is a neighborhood that can really help and flourish an entrepreneurial spirit that's already here. So I just want to be a part of that.
Hello, everyone. My name is Shalisha. I am a new resident, actually. I just moved this summer, but I was involved in my last community board, CB2, and of course, naturally, I wanted to immediately get involved here. But really, I guess my interest really stemmed from serving the community. I've worked for a number of years at a pantry as a volunteer coordinator, and it really just one day, I was like, you know what, how can I help them more? It's good to show up weekly and, you know, help with people securing food that are in need. But it's just like, I want to know more about, you know, beyond this. Like, what are the services that are out there? How can, you know, I serve them more with policy and access, because it's a vulnerable population of seniors, really, who, you know, are immigrants that don't speak the language, right? So it's just, it kind of stemmed from, I'm like, you know, I can do more. Let me get out there and start going to meetings and learning more. And, yeah, so I just kind of have a passion for, I would say, like, equity, you know, and opportunity for all, and that's why I'm here, and happy to be here.
Hi, I'm Louisa Higgins. This is my first anything. I'm a community member, is that right? Of this committee. So, and Vanessa invited me to apply. My background professionally has been in human services and public policy, child care specifically. But since COVID, I spent the last few years consulting and supporting early stage entrepreneurs and a lot of female founders. And I have a specific interest in cannabis and cannabis-related businesses, and I've been really drawn to thinking about how so many of these new cannabis businesses across the state, how do we keep that money in our neighborhood? It's one of the things that really drove me to apply and get involved. My children go to school down the street on President Street, and so I think we live down on Linthrop, and I think I was also just really eager to sort of broaden my circle that felt really small since COVID.
Hi, my name is Alman Chaya. I'm a local, born and raised just a few blocks away from here. And I heard the opportunity to join. I'm a member, a resident member. And I just thought this could be a good way to start, at least getting involved and helping the extreme local, community with the economics, try to see how I can contribute. being part of some local family businesses as well. You know, really get some interested in it, just to see how I can be of help.
Great. Great, thanks everybody. Meet you all. So we had a really good year, I think, last year. We thought it was very successful. We had a business owner breakfast in June, where we tried to invite as many business owners as we could throughout the district. We hit the streets, flyered up and down Utica and Flatbush and Bedford, everywhere. We put up flyers, we texted every way we could try to get people. We got 30 people-ish. And
it was more than that.
Yeah.
It was like, wow.
Yeah. It was really good. The vibes were really good. Everyone was really grateful to be with each other, meeting each other. People who had had businesses for a long time, people who were just opening things, all different kinds of people. And so we kind of went around the room, everybody introduced themselves, what their business was. Joelle from Brooklyn Perk donated a bunch of coffee and pastries, and everyone ended up letting us pay him. So we still have that $300 from last year. Anyway, so it was good. Everyone had a good time, and then we sent out an email. And did we get any replies? Okay. Hopefully we got some replies. We wanted, people wanted another breakfast for sure. So they were like, when are you going to do this again? And they also wanted us to do other things, although from the day I didn't really gather that vibe. What did you guys think?
Not so much
I didn't hear
specific
any.
action.
Yeah.
No, but I do know that there was conversation. I thought one of the feedback tips that I liked was just trying to find what is our district, what are we known for? You know, Flatbush, we associate with Caribbean, even though we are still a Caribbean neighborhood or just a mixed neighborhood. What is our identity? And how can we, especially business owners, I thought that was my biggest one.
Yeah.
That stuck in my brain.
Yeah.
There was lots of stuff going on.
There was a lot.
I was what my little brain could hold on to and stuck for the 2 minutes.
Yeah.
The 2 months when we were out. Stuff.
What about you, Lisa?
Yeah, I do think that they were happy to have the forum, even though they all seemed a little stressed because they were taken away from their job. But as they started to talk to other business owners, they eased up a little bit, and they thought it was a really good idea to have the conversations and see how they can work together to try to make the work that they do better, making sure that they can get out to their customers and all that. But for those that didn't come, the timing was a challenge. We did hear that. So I think maybe breakfasts are great, maybe having a happy hour or something else, a different time, so different people can come based on their schedules.
Yeah.
Can I ask, sorry, as the objective was just to start?
Yeah,
people to
we
be
are
able to
at a ground zero around here.
Yeah.
So we were people don't even know each other. I mean, the corridors don't speak at all. There's no.
And people just on the same corridor, they're not right
Yeah.
next to each other, they don't talk to each other.
Yeah.
And you can't have a good economic neighborhood without talking to each other.
I think some of the people who saw some of my business owner friends with other pictures were like, oh my god, Cal was there from Midwood Flats and I didn't make it. He doesn't go to anything. I can't believe I didn't make it. So maybe they felt next time they should show up because it was legit. There were, it was like this time now. Yeah, it was a nice group of people. I think they were definitely apprehensive at the beginning. Everyone was kind of standing there I don't know, do we talk to each other? You're adults, just mingle. And then then they didn't want to leave.
Yeah.
Because we were there way late. Yeah. But it was a great location. It was a little hot. It was at Houston Stubble on Nostrand. Their air conditioning wasn't working, so.
But we made it work.
But yeah, it was okay. People didn't seem to notice. We were like kind of worried, but they didn't care, yeah. Yeah, we should maybe try, if we do another thing like that, maybe do somewhere in a different area.
Yes.
Like a different part of the district.
And I think we can do a bigger, maybe just a little bit bigger.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I think it depends on when we do it in season 2, which was something I feel like we waited. It
yeah,
would be nice to do it a bit earlier this time, so that way we can retain
I
people.
agree.
Because we did it right before we went into session, and it was like one of our last meetings. So a lot of people were showing interest, wanted to come to the committee, so that way we can like, encourage conversation.
Yeah.
How would you better?
Hello, everyone. How are you? Welcome.
Afternoon, so you can sit.
Are
you here for economic development?
Yeah, they're my guests for Bridge Street, yeah. Welcome, welcome. Thank you. Let you guys get settled and then we can let you guys go. So, actually, we didn't even have a meeting since our event. That's right. Yeah, because we had the night before, we had the last meeting, and then we had our event, and then we had summer, and so we haven't been together, so that's why our first meeting. Yeah, that's exactly it. So yeah, good job, everybody. Any feedback about that?
One.
One.
Yeah, we should reset.
Yeah. Maybe
We're
like
back
a
in session.
new,
Yeah. Some
yeah, being like, hey, we're
information,
back.
The meetings for this. Yeah, we can do that.
Okay.
Start popping up around
Yeah.
places.
Yeah. Okay, so, these guys, Tiara and Claudia, are here from Bridge Street Corp. And we were talking to a guy named Connor before summer started, and he had been trying to revitalize Utica with a merchants association. Here was the one who talked to him a little bit about that, but Connor has left. And so Claudia has taken over Connor's job, and now these guys are trying to figure out like what exactly is going on in Utica, and any information that we can give them to help them do their job. I'm gonna have them explain a little bit more about what they're doing, but would be great. Okay, so the floor is yours.
Well, that was good.
Just slide over and come to the table.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's the camera there, but
Oh, yeah. All right. Look at us. Yeah, I'll take this one. So thank y'all for having us. I'm Tiara. I'm the Director of Economic Development at Bridge Street. And so just really, long story short, we are getting a CDNA for Crown Heights. We are in year 3, so this is the last year of the 3-year project.
What is that?
It's a commercial district needs assessment. Basically, it's a survey of Crown Heights. I should have brought copies, but we only have Spanish right now. I will bring some copies. I'll send you some for the next meeting. Oh yeah, Dante worked with Conrad also. So what it is SBS. We got a grant from SBS for 3 years to do this commercial district needs assessment. The first year is surveys. We do merchant surveys. We do consumer surveys. We collected offhand. I think we collected about 350 consumer surveys and probably like 150 merchant surveys. And it just basically asks like, what are your needs in the neighborhood? And it always comes up as like sanitation, safety, marketing from the businesses. And then from the resident perspective, it's always sanitation, parking, and lighting is always like a big thing. So then year 2, we got like this finished product. And then we kind of peddle it to all the community-based organizations. I'm sure Connor did a presentation because we covered Utica, Atlantic, and Nostrand. And now we're in the final year, and one of the goals was to get a Merchants Association on Utica Avenue. So from Utica, from Eastern Parkway to Atlantic, just to kind of cover like a wide range, because for our North Nostrand Merchants Association, those are the blocks that we covered. So we're trying to get something going on Utica Avenue. We've had one meeting recently. I want to say it was like July, and then we took a break. It was about 4 or 5 businesses, which isn't terrible. It's actually a really good start because starting a merchant association is a slow burn. We usually tell people like the first year, the meetings will be like hit or miss. So we scheduled another one, nobody showed up. So we are just reaching out. I found this email in Connor's old emails. So I said, let's reach out, let's kind of get things going again, because now we have someone that took Connor's place. And since I've been there, I'll be there to help Claudia, in this last year and see what we can do, what we can assist with. And then also, we got some funding to do some economic development work for Flatbush area. So there's the finished product. Thank you. That's the CDNA. It's a real thing. It's live on SBS's website. All the community boards have it. We have a few copies in the office, not a whole lot. Oddly, we got more in Spanish than we requested, but
It's on the SBS.
it's on the SBS website. Yeah, so if you just Google Crown Heights CDNA, it'll come up. So Bridge Street, we did, the first one that we did was the Best Side CDNA. And once we finished that, we kind of helped form 4 merchants associations. One was already established, we just continued the work. And then Crown Heights, the 2 merchants associations are North Nostrand and Franklin. So they're all incorporated with the state. They have EIN numbers, bank accounts, numbers, monthly merchant meetings, which is why we were late. We were on another merch meeting. And so we're in year 3 for Crown Heights, and these are the efforts that we hope to accomplish by the end of the year, that Utica Avenue would have a fully functioning merchants association with the incorporated bank accounts, EIN numbers, all the things. And then hopefully we could do some events. We always start with like a cleanup because everybody loves a cleanup, and hopefully they can get like a one-day event to kind of culminate this whole last year, maybe a street closure, something. We haven't gotten that far yet, but this is where we are. This is what we're proposing, and
And then can you tell us a little bit about the Flatbush?
so we still have to work out like what that looks like, but the goal would be to do some economic development work, have some workshops in Flatbush, because we're working with Sarah Lewis's office. So we are going to partner with another organization, hopefully get some merchants associations involved, and then we can, we'll work out like a scope of work.
So more south.
Yeah, we have to work out like the parameters because Sarah Lewis covers like Linwood, Flatbush, that side, and we don't. So we have to, find organizations that are already there doing the work. So we'll probably work with like the Levy and, and see how that works. And that's it. And then we have some workshops coming up. I'm gonna have a couple flyers I'll be going with you guys. But we host 2 workshops a month, always small business related. That's part of our NDA program. It's not non-disclosure. It's a neighborhood development area. So we host 2 workshops a month. The goal for that grant is to get 8 businesses to sign on and receive technical assistance for the year. And we don't have a list of what the technical assistance is because it kind of depends on what the business asks for. We don't really have like limitations on what we can and cannot do, so we leave it to the business to tell us what their needs are, and then if we have the capacity and resources, we help them. If we don't, we always, it's always a referral-based program. So we host these workshops monthly, always small business topic related, and then we're also working with Brooklyn Legal Services to provide legal clinics. We have office hours for the businesses if they just have like a quick question that they don't want to, pay to ask. They can come into the office and they can ask their questions. We have attorneys there. They have the intake process if, you know, it's something a little more extensive. But yeah, that's what we offer. And then aside from economic development, we also have a real estate department. We have a senior services. If you have any seniors that, you know, want to do some activities, we have a senior building on Quincy and Lewis. We have a large youth workforce department, which I don't know if maybe our job developer has come down this far, but we have a really large summer youth program with 1,200 young people from 18 to 24. You know, it's through the city, so if your business can host interns for the summer, it's a 6-week program. They're paid $17 an hour. They work 25 hours a week, and it is at no cost to you. You just have to do like some work site trainings, of like the do's and don'ts of what summer youth interns can do. But we also have other youth workforce programs throughout the year, but SYG is just the biggest one. We can't do that more than once a year, just capacity wise. But that is it. I have some cards if anybody wants to reach out afterwards. But yeah, it's not cards yet. This is actually our first like full week. So we are out meeting whoever we can, wherever they are. That's it. Thanks. Thank you. Thank you for letting us crash your meeting.
Yeah, you guys have any questions? How can we help you?
Businesses, I mean, contacts, if you have like, you know, whatever it is, whoever you know in Utica, if they're not a business owner, if they're just someone that lives on the block, they've lived there for a long time. You know, we've already reached out to like elected officials. We have a connection with like the Chase on Utica, but any institution, any organization in the area that has a connection to Utica, whoever has a connection. Okay.
Well, listen, first of all, thank you so much for coming and doing the economic. My name is Fred Baptiste. I'm the chair of the committee board now. I guess my question is this. Because I think we've seen a lot of inertia or resistance in the district in terms of, you know, merchants association. I think some have held off. Like, do you have a sense of like what probably makes businesses not want to do these kinds of things? Is it because
Not want to do it?
Yeah.
They don't have the time. They don't have capacity. It's not making them money, so they're not really interested, which is fair. I mean, most small businesses have one owner, and that one owner is also staff. They're also accounting. They're also sanitation. So they don't have capacity. So what we try to do is like meet them where they are, and then explain to them that when you show up to your community board meetings, it's better to show up as, you know, like a unified voice, that you guys have like done the work to show up as an association, and you know your voice holds more weight when you show up, you know, as a collective. And then for us, you tend to see results a little quicker when you show up as a unified body than just, you know, one business, you know, having a complaint, a question, a comment, whatever it is. So for us, we just say like, just give us a year to try and get some change. You know, whatever it is, we don't make these grand promises because that's not easy. But we do have some funding that we can, you know, do some work, which is always a help. And then we don't charge anything. We can't charge for our services. So what it is, you know, we say, you let us know what you want, and we'll let you know what we can do. And then hopefully by the end of it, they're ready to like, you know, we get you going, and then, you know, we hold your hand as long as we can, and then we hope to, you get your legs and go. But I mean, that doesn't happen because businesses are busy. Like we have some associations we formed like a while ago, but we're still scheduling monthly meetings for them. So it's not that we're just going to get them started and leave. You know, we hold on to businesses, and we show up for them, you know, as best we can.
do you have data, like the ones that you have done it for, do you have data that shows
What's happened?
Yeah, what's happened or what's the improvement? So what's the change in terms?
I mean, I did a presentation at SBS earlier today. I feel like I'm on a political campaign right now. But I did a presentation with SBS for like new community-based organizations that got the CDNA grant. So we had to, show and prove that like we got this money, this is what we did over the last 3 years, and these are the results. So it's, ultimately we got them incorporated. They have all had some kind of event that, shows that they're here, they have a presence, they have websites, social media. We encourage them to, utilize SYP, so they have some extra help. So for SYP, each business will get as many interns as they can handle, and then we'll assign one intern for the association. So then that can help kind of supplement the social media help that, businesses just don't have the capacity to do. So, we try to have as much as possible to just be an assistance to the businesses.
Thank you so much, Dr.
How can we get in touch with you?
I have cards, and you can. I will say, I'll put my phone number on it. Text me. That's the easiest thing. Calling, I don't answer strange numbers because
Same.
this is where we are. It's always spam. So just text me or email me. I always have my phone. I'm always on it and always working. So just send me an email, and I'll get back to you as quickly as possible.
One quick question.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry if I missed this already, but I know you said this is year 3, so the beginning of year 3. What is the primary goal for this year or for the end?
Should have brought the work scope, but the biggest goal is for Utica Avenue to get a fully functioning merchants association, which to start out, we just ask for 4 core businesses to sign on, because then they make up the executive team. So your president, vice president, treasurer, and secretary. That's what gets you started to start having your meetings, to get to the point where you're incorporated. And then also we have Franklin Avenue, we have a social media campaign for them. And then North Nostrand Avenue is the 3rd association for year 3. They just finished a bid exploration grant for them to do the legwork to eventually become a bid. They're not quite there yet, so we're gonna postpone it and then get them ready to apply next year for the bid formation. So those are the 3 major projects for year 3 or 4.
Is there a certain number of businesses that you're looking for to kind of start that merchants association?
Ideally, I say 10.
10?
4 for the core. 10 is ambitious because if I say 10, then hopefully 6 will show up. So we kind of shoot for 10, and 10 is a lot. And it's, to get 10 businesses to be at the same place at the same time, to be available, is tricky. So we'll meet you where we can. We'll do virtual meetings, we'll do hybrid, whatever it is. If you want to have one meeting in the middle of the day and one at 6 o'clock, we'll do that too. Because we know businesses' time is precious. So,
Now, are you looking at the thriving businesses in the area or the businesses that probably look like they need help?
We start with institution businesses, just because they have the most interest in trying to preserve the community. And those are usually the businesses that know the most people. So they can easily be like, look, oh, my neighbor, she's been here for 10 years, I've been here 15, that one's been here 20. They're typically the most interested, but it's easier to get newer businesses to sign on because they don't have as much invested just yet. So it's a combination, but there's really, we get who shows up and who wants to be a part of it. Typically, once they see that first event, then people want to sign on because they don't want to be left out.
I have a question. Is there any kind of cost for the businesses eventually?
They eventually, once there is an association, they pay membership dues, but that is also decided amongst the group. We have one association, it's $400 a year, they pay $100 quarterly. Other associations, they pay $100 a year. So it's all decided by the group. We don't make those decisions. We show up for meetings, but we don't vote. We don't have a say in anything. We're just getting insurance in the background. Because we can't have a say. We don't pay rent on the corridor. We don't have to deal with any of the issues, good or bad. So we just kind of help get everyone to the point so they're agreeing on what is needed.
And one other question, what elected officials have you reached out for the youth center?
I had to go back through Connor's emails because I did not handle the Crown Heights side. I handled the Best Side CDNA. So I've only just recently, because he left end of July. So I've been playing catch up for the last month or so. And then Claudia just started last week. So we are, and Connor's not far. He just went to the Navy Yard. So he's readily available and he can help. So we're just trying to, do the due diligence and get it going.
So I would definitely say reach back out to the elected officials and have something put in like a newsletter. They have a weekly newsletter, a monthly newsletter, put something out there, looking for businesses in the Utica area. They can even do some initiative or, walk around with you, have the elected officials come out and talk to some of the businesses and explain why this is important, right? So going back to them is definitely.
That's always a good draw for people because then they feel like once they have their ear, they can voice whatever it is that they've been trying to get off in emails and texts or whatever it is. So yes, that's our next stop.
What are the boundaries for each of those?
For that corridor, it's Utica from Eastern Parkway to Atlantic.
Okay. It's technically outside of our.
That's not the.
And it's split. It's two different council members because it's the same with our Nostrand Association. It's Crystal Hudson and she. So we always run into like this split association.
So the Empire Cities Department and so
Where you
after
guys-
that to Atlanta.
They haven't drawn the boundaries of this association. We just kind of threw out Atlantic to Eastern Parkway because that's what the other association is. But there's really it's up to them. If they want to take it to Empire, they can definitely do that. But then it would just be a capacity for the association. And then it gets a little tricky when you have numerous elected officials for one association, because what we run into is like with Nostrand, we get funding from one office, but it doesn't cover the whole association. So like we got money for tree guards, but it can only go up to St. John's because that's out of the
It makes it more difficult.
It makes it difficult. Yeah.
And what about to make other people feel bad?
Franklin is the same as Atlantic to Eastern Parkway.
So we're essentially working with the CBA, not really our district. Because it is definitely different from council, just to resource and structure wise. So that was something I was thinking of.
So has the Utica merchant, I guess, have you guys identified for like anchor businesses yet?
We have like 2 in a possible.
I know a lot of people don't like Chase Bank, but I've been begging Shakima.
Well, we had a meeting with Shakima,
Okay.
and people showed up to that.
Yeah.
And that was like the first one because we had the elected official representatives.
Yeah.
It was at Chase. We had it like at 7 o'clock, so like people could show up, and be like, all right, cool. We scheduled the next meeting, and it was like 3 people.
Okay.
And then the next meeting was nobody. So it's, I know there's like ebbs and flows, it'll be that way, but Shakima was great. And, we had that meeting, so we're just trying to like revive what was started. We're trying to keep the wheel turning again.
Have you visited the churches down Utica?
I know Connor did, because it was part of the CDNA, we had to count every business and churches are included.
Okay.
So I know we've definitely done that, now we just have to go back and, you know, we're like doing the work all over again.
Yeah. The presentations in the churches,
Yep.
so many people have businesses and
Yeah.
probably right in the area.
Churches
know,
like,
right? Or can talk to their favorite restaurant,
Right.
their favorite place, and tell them, hey, this is what's going on.
Yeah.
So that'd be great.
so that's, yeah, we're starting all over a little bit.
So what can we do to move the needle from Eastern Parkway to Empire Boulevard?
Yes, we exactly that.
If you have businesses that want to subscribe to this merchants association, there's no boundaries that have been drawn. Nothing has been set in stone. So if that's what it'll take, then we can go down that path.
What I think that it's gonna need a lot of change management to try to convince the folks that, this would be a worthwhile endeavor for them to, but there's a lot of businesses that are run by folks who English is not their first language, they're immigrants, so they're trying to keep things to themselves. But how do we convince them that this is a good thing for them to do for themselves and for the neighborhood?
We usually start with we're not charging anything, because I know that's like the big thing. It's like, well, how much is this costing? It's like absolutely nothing. We are just we are basically volunteers for the businesses, and you know, for us, like a big draw for people is summer youth, because that's also something that doesn't cost you. We can't say it's free labor, but like essentially you're getting, you know, and even if you have staff that is under 24, they can apply for summer youth, and they can continue to work for you for the 6 weeks, but you just don't have to pay them. So it's like, you know, so they can work the 25 hours. Like if you have them working full time, you can have them work the 25 hours for summer youth, and then you just pay them the over. So it's a win-win.
So do you have like, I'm sorry, do you have like a flyer for businesses or a
Yes.
short?
We have a one pager,
Yeah.
which we're reworking because we've had to add and take away some things, just for like based around year 3. So we are reworking that. We're hoping to have it done by the end of this week. So once it's done, I can.
Like how many languages do you put that?
We send it to SBS and they can send it back to us in as many languages as possible. So if you let us know like the key languages that it needs to be in, we can send it to SBS and they can do that.
Which is also a little bit of a catch-22 because of the implication is that they're going to be able to translate everything moving forward, right? But like the meetings and things like that.
I think having as much translated as possible, you can be honest and say full language translation is not available for that notification.
To get the information. Yeah, so if y'all can let us know what languages are key, we can do that. That's gonna take a little longer because we have to go to SBS, but it can be done.
Is there anything digital, video that we can share? with businesses?
Yeah, so we have also the presentation for the CDNA that is in video form, and SBS also has like a informational video that we can send out.
Okay, the CDNA video, how long is that?
It's about 2 minutes.
Okay.
Anything longer, nobody will watch it.
Exactly, that's the short.
2 minutes,
Short
yeah.
flyers, just to get.
This is what we have. This is yeah.
So where can we find that link?
For that video, I haven't sent that to you.
Okay, perfect.
And so when are you coming back?
When is the next video?
Next month.
Okay.
First month.
Second Monday. I think it's on the calendar actually. It's second Monday. Second. Okay, so it's the 14th. Oh wait, no, that's Columbus Day. Or happened 15 times.
people that come to see, those people will come to see. How many
I
calendars?
was gonna say, how many calendars do you have?
I don't know, it's 7th?
Yeah, we're the
Day it is.
October 7th.
Is it?
But that's, we can ask Dante before.
Yeah.
Because I know we shoot the religious holidays, the meetings move. So,
Dante, it's our meeting next month, October 7th, right? For us. At least that's what it says online.
That's why I get 5 months.
well, if it's on the internet, then that's
It is. I do have one question, I guess. So I know this is our last year and we have goals. We want to get maybe 10 people. That's ideally 4 for the executives. Say we're not able to meet those marks and then the year comes to end. Does that mean we're kind of back on our own trying to get like okay.
So, like right now for SBS always has another something. So in whatever capacity, we don't just like pack up and leave and don't have the exact grant for funding. What we do is when we apply, we would just apply for the neighborhood that we're working in at the moment. And so like, this is the work that we've done, this is where we started, we want to continue, this is some money. And then if it doesn't come from SBS, then it doesn't come from us. We work on grant by grant basis, but it's not, it doesn't have to be dedicated to like a new project. It can be us continuing. So like we applied for like a merchant organizing grant from SBS, and that is to either start a new association or to revive one that we previously worked with that we ran out of funding for. So it'll always continue. It would just look a little different from year to year, but it wouldn't be just like a complete shutdown. And then hopefully, you know, by the end of the second year, like the association will be up and running and fully functioning, and then we can just show it. But in whatever case, if, you know, the work will get done. In the best case scenario.
Examples of what the business association accomplished in a successful example?
So for Nostrand, North Nostrand, because it's from Atlantic to Eastern Parkway, we kind of met them in between executive team stage, and then they had like some change in leadership, but they have hosted 2 multi-block events. So we got Nostrand Avenue closed for 2 days. We had a rain date for one, but they have a destination Nostrand, which is their multi-block event. We've had that twice, and then we've had 2 Unity in the Marketplace events. We hosted at the Children's Museum on the rooftop. We host those on Juneteenth, so this is the second one. And then they're incorporated with all the things. And then Tompkins Avenue, after we did the CDNA, we did that during COVID. So then we got Open Streets out of the CDNA. So we had a pretty good Open Streets program. We were in our 4th year. We got a little too popular, so we had to kind of suspend it. But that'll be another thing. And then we got a lighting grant from SBS to do commercial district lighting along the corridor. Malcolm X has had they've had like a culmination event to announce that they're here. Lewis Avenue had an Open Trees program for 1 year. We did weekends. Marcus Garvey is the only one that hasn't had like a street closure. Because it's a little tricky over there. They have the armory, so it's a little. The police department is not big on street closures. But we, that's just like, big examples of like what we've done with all the associations. So right now we're working with 6 associations in Bed-Stuy, 2 in Crown Heights. We applied for the 7th association, which is like the other side of Nostrand. We haven't come up with the name yet, so we're just calling them South Nostrand. And then Utica would be the 8th one.
Just to know what there is to present to them, tell me this is what the outcome could look like.
Yeah, I mean, the best thing that, people always know about Open Streets, I don't know if it's best to lead with that because then people want an
Yeah.
open streets program, and it is the biggest pain that anyone can ask for. It's great for the businesses, it's great for the neighborhood, depending on who you ask, but the legwork that goes into the open streets program is insane.
And even has like 46
Right.
So that's going to be like.
The 40, right, it's always, we didn't think that we'd be able to get Notion closed, but with a lot of promises and, you know, a lot of begging, we got it closed, so, you know, there's hope that it can happen somewhere else, but right now Franklin Avenue is the next one that would really want to open streets. I don't know that will happen, I don't know if or when, but that was
So
also.
how would a corridor get you guys to get a grant to come in to help them create a merchants association or do a study and that kind of stuff?
To get us to do it, you just kind of have to let us know that that's what you want. Because like the South Nostrand, they came to us and they said they want help with getting a merchants association. Because they always say like they feel like they don't get enough love. So it's
Yeah.
to go past yeah. So there's like, look, like, you know, all these other associations are getting love, like why don't we get it? So then we have to go, we talk to the council, we talk to the assembly people, and we ask for money. Because nothing is free. For the businesses it's free, but like for us, somebody gotta pay us. So it's like we do this and then we make the presentations and then we're like, look, this is what we've done, we need you to help us continue, and that's where the extra money comes from. It's usually like discretionary funding or whatever it is, however they want to label it, we will take it to do the work, because we have to have some. The businesses have to feel like, the time that they dedicate came to something, big or small, we have to, have something for them.
So say we wanted to get together another small business, another business work or something, this would be maybe an opportunity that we could like partner on a presentation.
So I want to get an idea of what your messaging is like when you're talking to the businesses. Or if you're like walking to a business, right? How do you talk to them or pitch this, right? Because like how you said, if it's not making any money for them, they don't care, right? And even in the Merchants Association field, right? They're going to look at what's in it for them as an individual business, right? So what's the answer to that? How are you
So
answering that?
what we typically tell them is that we will do the free marketing as best we can. What our ultimate goal is to bring business to the corridor. We can assist individual businesses, but what we're here for, like, to build an association. So whatever block it is, so Utica Avenue can be more of a destination. Whatever people's preconception, whatever thoughts they have about Utica Avenue, we want to put a message out there as to what really happens on Utica. And the best people to do that are the business owners. We can only do so much because we don't have the years on Utica Avenue. I mean, I know where Utica Avenue was. I grew up out here, but the business owners can tell their story better than anyone else, and we just want to be able to have their voices heard. We want them to be able to tell their own stories and, put it out there that Utica Avenue is also here. It's not just Eastern Parkway, it's not just Fulton Street, it's not just Atlantic Avenue, but like every corridor is full of small businesses, and everybody needs the attention. Like, nobody is doing it because ultimately they would love to make all this money and retire, but like small businesses are run by real people. So that's typically where we have a couple of like videos that have been done from SPS, from like our own team. We hire people to do it. So each corridor that we work with kind of has like their own commercial. So it's on their social media, and it's something that can be presented when you go ask for money from your elected officials.
Now, as a person who sold merchant processing, I know how short business owners can be. How, are you actually getting to have that conversation?
I mean,
With
not the
the-
first time, not the second time, probably not the third time, but we just end up showing up a lot.
Gotcha.
It's repetitive. It's like, I know you don't have time right now. Just give me 2 minutes. How much time do you have? Can I call you later? And then we get a WhatsApp group. All of our associations have a WhatsApp. So whenever we get like grants, loans, any business assistance, we typically send it to them and we follow up. We usually come like bearing gifts because that's really the only way to like hold people's attention. So whatever it is, like if it's an intern, if it's like a grant, if it's something, a workshop. We do a lot of MWBE certification workshops, which is always like a big draw. Which we have one in October. We haven't locked down the date yet, but I can send that information when we get that. And then like now we have a lunch and learn. We have a lunch and learn on Tuesday, September 16th. And that's just free advertising. That's, I can leave some of the fees. And then we have, other resources. We have like a Grow with Google certificate program. And this is for anybody. This is not necessarily for the businesses. It's your cousins, your kids, anybody can do it. But we always have something. We like to, offer something that would make it make sense for you to just give us like 5-10 minutes every time. And then we show up with a clipboard. People feel like, we show up with an iPad, a clipboard, a staff shirt, and we usually get better results. And then we tell them we're not from the city. Because then it's also like another thing. Yeah, so we very casual when we show up because, alarms get set up.
The way we tax you.
Yeah, we don't, no. We try to be strategic in our approach, and like we don't show up to businesses on like Thursdays or Fridays, because those are the busy times. If we host workshops, we host them on Mondays or Tuesdays, because it seems to be the best time to like get someone's attention. And the rest of the week we don't bother you, unless it's something you want us to reach out to you for. So we try to work with the businesses as best we can, and we try and meet them where they are.
Do you collect any data after the associations are formed? 1 year in, how would you report, how is this affected either your sentiment, right, about your neighborhood that you have your business in, or business growth or anything like that?
Yeah, so on our side, we have check-ins with SBS every 2 weeks. We submit a quarterly report 3 months in, and in the end, we do write like a final report of like what we accomplished, what we wanted to accomplish, and what we didn't, and what we would like to do if we had more time. And then more time, yeah. So we say more time, but really is we need more time. So yes, we do full reports on the work that we do.
Great. Thanks.
Thank you. I have cards. If anybody wants to reach out,
These for us.
yeah, anything we can do, let us know. If you want to plan another breakfast, I know that happened before.
Yeah.
We can show up, we can assist. You just let us know.
Thank you so much.
Thank you guys. Thanks. Appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of your meeting.
Yeah.
Thanks for letting us crash.
Thanks for crashing.
Is it crash? They all want us to sign.
Oh, yeah, may as well.
I know how that goes.
Yeah.
Because if you don't sign in, did you?
Are you actually here?
Were you
Anybody up here?
Were you?
Do you want to introduce yourself, because we all went through.
Oh,
said
sorry,
our
yeah, I'm
names.
sorry for the way. My name is Vaughn Joseph, yeah, that's what I'm on the community board.
Nice to
Board
meet
member.
you. I'm Vanessa.
Okay.
Julie. Lisa.
And
Shalisha, Louisa.
Okay.
Did you get all that?
Repeat it back.
There's a cheat sheet right at the top of this
I'm ready to do it.
Okay, great. I think Dante had interns this summer. I just want to ask him really quick because I feel like they made a list of the businesses that we had talked about last year. Yeah, Dante. Did you have interns this summer?
We had some internships.
Did they work on a business project?
A little bit, yes.
Okay,
Give me 1 second.
okay.
Interns, I wish I saw them.
Harass them or you
Just to say hi.
Yeah, we wanted a list of all the businesses in the neighborhood. We had a list from Diana Richardson from years ago, but lots of them were closed and whatever. And so I think the interns started this. So maybe next time when we do an event. But yeah. Thank you.
We still have the old sheets that we had started and
There were all the names, there's all the names
And
on
some
me too, and I
businesses
didn't
have
send them to him, so depending on how far you want to figure out our lists and get,
cross-reference and just compile.
yeah.
That would make sense. Yeah, I figured that could be like maybe a working document as to me, like wherever we are in the neighborhood, just start.
Adding to it, yeah.
That way it's
I
fun.
have to, create a copy of it, because it's Regina's.
Oh, the one that you guys
Yes.
had.
And then, make sure everybody has access to this.
Can you still share access to it?
Maybe not, I don't know.
I'm
sure she would.
I feel like it would be open. We have it, so if we,
Yeah, but it's not ours, she owns the doc.
we can do a share.
I don't think it's consent. I think you can share, I don't know if they can see it.
Or
You know,
add to it, right.
So
They have a
Google,
Google,
it's not.
it's a Google, it's a Google
Yeah.
sheet.
Yeah.
So maybe we can
I mean, I have
add
like.
ours to Dante's list.
Yes, you can pull it out.
So over the summer, our interns compiled a list of all the businesses that we have in this district. It has the addresses, phone numbers, the works. So what I think, to make this data, I guess, more raw and recent, the committee could help probably go through and like, oh, that business is definitely closed.
Okay,
Boom, and then we can like condense it that way.
okay.
So that's the information that they came up with. It's a lot. The way that I foresee it working is sharing the Google Drive with the committee.
Yeah.
Is that cool with everyone?
Yes,
The Google
yes.
Drive is good?
Yeah.
It's a lot. I don't want to.
And then is it
print it
all
out.
just in one page?
No, so they broke it out in tabs. It's broken out by corridor. Utica, Nostrand.
That's how we have it.
Wonderful.
That's what
Look, I went to grad school. We got it.
Okay.
Things got to be like this. Yeah, we have that information, so we can figure out what we want to do.
Yeah, and then we can add to it.
Exactly.
Share it.
And that's our sheets are the one that we made Regina's in the same format, so it would be easier for us to just cross-reference and just.
Great. Okay, and then one other thing that I wanted to talk about, a little version of a lot of things, is start brainstorming some new things that we want to do this year. I heard of breakfast on Utica, but I don't know, maybe we should start talking about like, maybe get like a list of like 10 or 20 things that we're just like, could do, not necessarily that we will do. No idea is a bad idea.
Yeah. I mean, I think the breakfast was very good.
Yes.
Like, if you could do it on each corridor, like,
I think that would
And the
be
breakfast would
good.
accomplish what?
I think that
Like,
would be
what would be
really
the
just-
goal for doing the breakfast?
Well, the one we did last year was basically everybody just to meet each other and like get to know each other, share
Get to know you,
emails.
okay.
Yeah, like everyone would basically introduce each other
Okay.
and like said hi. But I think that's a good idea per corridor. Like,
Yeah.
I think it would be easier to kind of like make those presentations specific,
yeah.
get those like merchant association conversations.
Right.
Yeah.
And then we can start building from those larger, from those smaller.
The attack smaller than bigger.
Right.
You have to build relationships. It's about relationships.
So maybe we should identify each corridor's merchant association if they have one,
Okay.
and then go from there.
Because that would be the best part,
Yeah.
if they have already merchant associations.
So we have Utica, which we know has
Has no.
no merchant
But we
association.
probably should use Chase.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To wrangle people to
Get people.
Yes.
Or which they might have a
Yeah.
list of the people that they've been in touch with.
Right. And
Show
you guys
them-
have
show them
that
number
list.
of specific
Yeah.
people.
Oh, wait.
Don't you guys have a Utica list?
We have a
Yeah.
Utica list. But, and Chase is on there. But since they always put on events and can get some businesses, we should utilize them. to
Okay.
go
We'll take it back.
Would we not want to reach out to the Brooklyn Chamber?
Okay. Do we want them to come to our meeting? We can invite them. Or-
Absolutely.
Would be great. They have a list of businesses.
Okay, I'll invite them.
And I think, as far as event wise, I think what's really needed for businesses, are resource fairs, right? Business resource fair, but it's, how can you do it logistically? Because if something's not, less than 5 blocks away, people don't really want to go to it, right? If they have to travel too far, right? So how can we really set business resource fairs throughout the district where we can really get the numbers that really count? Where you're giving resources like business plans. There's so many businesses that's active and don't have a business plan. Never had a business plan. That's really effective to how you grow, right? How you react to COVID, different things like that that may come your way. So there's a lot of resources and things that the businesses have already before they even started, right? So I think if we can get some type of resource fair set up for businesses, that would be great.
And they kind of identify what they need, and then maybe we can help kind of connect them. Like we become like the connectors, you know. Like, okay, you need this, and let's kind of bring
Yeah,
it
like
together.
if we have all this information,
Yeah,
but if
correct.
there was
Yeah,
a
because we
way
have
that we
information,
could
we
like,
become, oh, you need this, okay, you should get this
Right.
person, kind of do like a.
Yeah, I think if the first event was like getting people to meet and get to know each other, I think it would make sense to build off of that by sort of that next step, especially like the vulnerability that you talked about, is sort of like where are the obstacles that we all face, right? With the next one after that being we put some solutions together, we found some resources that you might be able to.
Yeah.
But really finding out where people are struggling or what they're looking for more of. But doing that in person, I think, while networking can feel easier and more effective.
I feel like also a way to make communication channels a lot more seamless. We live in a digital age.
Yeah.
Our phones are always active. It would be really dope to kind of how can we increase that communication channel so that we can source information. That way flyers are pretty outdated. I have like 90 on my desk that I hope to get to, and then I'm like, this date passed, and it all goes in the trash. So how do we make this information easy, accessible, and like not overwhelming at the same time?
But first
We
we have
were
to see
on
what they
there.
have though, we have to see what, you know, a lot of them lack a lot of that.
That's a good point.
So first we have to see what they have, and then they may need help to kind of, you know, move forward, yeah, and then, you know.
Which is a good thing for
Might be different.
the
Yeah.
CDNA.
Exactly,
What
yeah,
kind of
yeah,
resources
provide.
I think we need to remember how we can help versus and who we are.
Yeah.
Right? We are not like funding sources and we can't write grants for them and stuff like that.
But we become a good connector.
Yes,
But
we can be the
talk to this
perfect
person
connector.
and connect them, and, you know.
Exactly.
So I can help a friend out today, a friend of mine, she had a printer, she did not know what to do. I made the calls for her. I mean, something she probably could have, but I would kind of, a little bit attack it, I was able to, and then it's done. The person's
Yeah.
coming on Thursday. I know something saying, I've got them
It's like,
quick
how do
three-way,
we
got a three-way,
organize?
and, you know, now it's done, and she's like, I gotta get this done, so, and that's what we become, you know.
It seems like we have a lot of flyers that go out on those email blasts and like there is a lot of this information. if you look through it, but there's like 500 flyers, so I don't know.
So
like-
that's actually what I was gonna say, back to kind of what you were saying,
Yeah.
Vanessa, about what are some ideas that we can
Yeah.
throw out there, things that we may be able to do, may not. One of the things that came to mind for me was like maybe a newsletter. To your point, it's a lot to get through, that Friday email, but when we have information coming to us like that, maybe it's a quarterly, I'm thinking adding value and opening up lines of communications so that we, a quarterly newsletter where the information that we receive is actually, given to them through a digital format, the stuff that they need to know, not that they have to, so that they don't have to sift through like the 500 different things, you know what I mean? So I think that that's an idea, and then.
It's impossible. It's impossible because you're going to have to sit, in order to get the resources that you want, you're going to have to read all the information.
Yeah.
So there's no way to get around it.
Yes.
Everyone understands that. Right?
Yeah,
Like,
to his point, so you have like a major hub, and then you have like little quick things that you may need to know, right? So you have like a whole, right? And then we have to kind of constantly like giving them things like day to day or week to week, what's fast.
And then there's also digital platforms that you can kind of use to break that down, right? For instance, the first thing that come up my mind is Linktree, right? So with Linktree, you can have a bunch of different subjects, grants, small businesses, whatever it is, right? And then you can just put in the flyers for those different things. So when a business owner who knows that District 9 has a link tree, they can go to them and just go straight to grants,
what they
or
want,
they can go, you know what I mean? Then you also have Discord. Discord is a platform where you can break down all different, what's the word, I forget what it is right now. But different channels, different rooms for different subjects and different things like that. And it's really easy, and it doesn't kind of seamlessly, so that's another thing as well.
I do have a point that I would like to bring, which is why I printed out some of these really graphic, fun coloring. So we are in one of these neighborhoods that is like one of the highest risks for displacement. And we do have barriers when it comes to our economic status already. I think we kind of also are at this point where people are already struggling to make ends meet. How do you get people to want to be involved when you're already struggling just to survive? Let's be real. I've been in that position myself where I don't feel like reading a bunch of emails because I haven't eaten today. So how do we connect people knowing that this is our community, this is like part of our economic development, right? How do we bring equity to people? And so that was my thing that I feel like I would love to see happen is how do we encourage economic development on a personal level, not just a business? So for me, that was like salary negotiations. How do we get people in the conversation of improving their economic status through resources and conversations? I went to something like that where it was how do you negotiate your salary? How do you talk about benefits with your employer? Just like recognizing these like smaller economic factors that contribute to our district as a whole. Like we talk about people not being able to go to businesses, well, if you can't afford your rent, how are you going to afford to go out to drinks and dinner? So I think connecting some of those dots will be maybe a part of my struggle. It's realistic, of course.
No, it is realistic.
Great point.
One of the businessmen that I spoke to, and I was asking him, let me know some of the challenges that they're having, so that people don't have money to purchase things in the store. So that in turn, he has trouble with his friends and stuff like that. So,
Yeah, but to you guys' point, I'm not saying, we blast them with everything. It goes back to finding out their needs, right? And I think that there was mentioned September 26th, right? There's going to be, a gathering to hear what are the needs, of the community, right? But then someone mentioned earlier about following up with the businesses that you made contact with already for the breakfast. And so we can follow up in ways where, maybe it's a survey of what are the needs, what are they struggling with, what are their issues. And then once you get that information from the survey and see what they need, curate things, whether it's a newsletter focused on, we got a lot of responses in these 3 areas, and we do a newsletter to hit these 3 points, or you curate an event because we got a lot of responses from this. You know what I mean? So just, I think surveys are a good
way to, one of many tools that can be used. Because, sometimes if you just ask people to email you, right, they don't know where to start. Sometimes you give people a template or
Sort
something.
of, lays it out the board and then, have stuff to figure out where
I
to
do think that it might make sense to have a space maybe on the CD9 page where there are static resources, not for events or anything like that. I don't know if frequently asked questions or something like, how do I start a business? These things to successfully start a business, or where do I go for help in ABCD? They can go to these resources to help you.
Getting the correct writer.
I look at all this different. I'm just going to be that person. We can be a connector, but I don't want people thinking that we're the place, because we're just adding a step, right? Like if we need to connect them to small businesses, we connect them to small businesses, and now they're connected and we're out.
Yeah.
Now they've learned how, like they have this relationship with small businesses.
Right, but we
Now
also
it's fulfilling.
these resources.
Right. Yeah.
Right, so we do have to compile something even just for our use.
Yeah.
Yes, of course.
To be able to say, oh, you want to learn to write a business plan? You make it go here.
Right.
That might help you out.
Right. Like I'm saying that because everyone in this room is going to come and go.
Right.
Right. SBS will still be there, right? So it's important that relationship is solidified.
Yeah.
Well, that would probably go to the fine print or conversation. Hey, we're just trying to help push you forward, give you a step to go forward. So that's like a conversation or something in writing. Hey, but so that's how you have to handle that.
But I'm also not a big waster of time, right? Because I feel like we know what the businesses need, right? Like I think that we all in here, we all know what they need. So we don't really need to continue the conversation about finding out what they need. We know they need access to capital, right? That's largely the biggest one, right? We don't want to beat around the bush. You can only get so many grants, and grants will take you so far. But you need capital, real capital. So how do we connect them to that?
But the question is like they need capital, but do they have a good business plan? It's a strong.
But what I'm saying, yes, I understand that. But see, if we find entities like Chase Bank, right, that do all of that, they are the capital, they are the business plans, they can do all of that. Then we build that out for them, and then they're like literally connected to a fiduciary. That's it. Right.
Which is the key.
Yeah, which is the key.
Is there a charge for this committee? Like, either in general or for this year, like what is this committee trying to accomplish? And I want to make the connection between, we've talked about small businesses exclusively, and then we started talking about people that live in the community, and I think if that's not clear, then
Well, from this meeting, I wanted to take some brainstorming ideas to say, what are some ideas about like, what do we think we want to accomplish? And I think Dante brought us back to something that's very important to talk about all the time here, which is like, we can only accomplish so much. We are connectors. We are not SBS, we are not Chamber of Commerce, okay, we are not their elected officials, we can tell them about them, but what we can really do is connect them to each other, we connect corridors to each other, because we are a community of many different corridors and many businesses who are running on one path, but their neighbor is on another path and they don't even know him, and they may be able to collaborate if they knew each other. Okay, so like let's stick to the basics about like, we could do an event in the fall, we could do an event in the winter, we could do an event in the spring. What are those events like? How do we want to feed off the first event?
if we can't have a sentence or two about what we're trying to accomplish.
Well, that's
Like
what
you're
we're just trying
you're
to
talking
figure
about
out.
an event, but it's like, so that what?
So that people know each other and can collaborate with each other and our business acumen goes up. At the
But
first
is
event
that
that we
what
had,
this committee is for, or
Yes.
is that?
Yes.
Well, so I guess we should get some language.
Yeah.
I do kind of feel like I still don't, if you're connecting a business to a business, how does that increase their capital? How does that increase
Well, we
customers?
can't, like, we can connect them at the first meeting. There were supposed to be some other people who didn't show up that would have been really great for them to be there, like Rita Joseph was supposed to show up, whatever, she had some fall.
No, this
No,
was
at
all-
our business owner bracket. That would have been a great person that could connect them to whatever issues she can help them with. I would think that if we had another event, that we could have people that we would really think that could help them, like somebody from the chamber, somebody from SBF, somebody from Chase Bank or who had funding. I mean,
any other bank, so any other
any
funding
bank,
source,
like
funding
Canva or.
Canva, yeah, you invite as many as you can.
But I think like
I mean,
we did like a first thing and everyone's like, oh yeah, this was great. We met each other and now we have a little bit of their trust. So we could be like, here's a second event with actual resources that might help you. And here's like that presentation was excellent. I think that we all learned something and we're like, oh, we should be able to help this woman, right? That kind of action is like what we can do here at economic development. I mean, we can't write grants for them and like actually get the money. We can just point them in the right direction.
I'm much more, like, I hear him about this, like, they need capital, and also, right, like, what I think we heard from TR was right about this, right about sort of like lighting, right, and sort of like, oh, I'm gonna go shop at 7 p.m. and I previously wouldn't have because I didn't like that I felt unsafe walking home. So there is capital, and it's not as simple as connecting people to a bank. It's going back to what that community looks like. And so that's why I'm saying I want to see this written down, right? I totally understand it's about growing businesses and things like that, but I think doing it through relationship, through understanding sort of everybody's experiences, right? Because the way that you as a business get money is if I come there more, right? And I tell someone else to come there, not just by getting it from a lender. And I think that's what we want to cultivate is communities where people want to stay, invest in their own community. And I'm like, that's what I want to see sort of written out. And that addresses what you're talking about as well.
I also think that, you know, when you ask what's the charge, I think that's part of what we do is we allow for this community to create this charge in terms of what areas you think we should really be looking at. I like the idea of connecting businesses, because I think that B2B is very important, because sometimes you figure out, I don't need to go to the Bronx because I have a business right in the neighborhood that we're working back and forth. We can create, you know, synergies and do things. We have common experiences, and you know, I think they can inform what we're looking at in terms of what the real issues are. I brought it up before. I think commercial rents and the way things happen, and you know, I've seen businesses. It's like it started off great until the rent went up 10,000% or whatever it was. That might be something we should be raising as an issue and a policy thing, where it's like, listen, you know, we can raise the issue from the board level and bring that up with our elected officials in terms of, you know, if you're talking about promoting businesses, we need to talk about some of these issues. The lighting issue. It's like, yeah, if people don't feel safe, I'm not coming out to the store that's on the corner that I hear everybody gets mugged. That is something that as a committee you can discuss and bring up, and we can look at it either it's a matter of, and sometimes it's as simple as Dante needs to make a phone call to, I can't remember who doesn't like DOT. DOT say, listen, these street lamps are out, we need to do something different, or we might need to look at some other avenues in terms of improvement. But I mean, I think that everything that everybody's saying is valid. It's just a matter of you find the focus that you want to hit.
Right.
You know, and to the chair's point, just make sure you don't get bogged down in trying to bite off something bigger than you.
So kind of from what, and I love the, Jody, right? I love how you brought up the really consumer empowerment, right? That's kind of what you were talking about. And I think to what you're saying about is how to word everything. I think what we're looking at is business support and consumer empowerment, right? And that's a goal that I believe the Economic Development Committee can look at, right? Because the consumer empowerment part is it's a story that's left out, right? We're always talking about the businesses and what they need, but like we always come down to that last part, that consumer, if they're not empowered, for one, and in that consumer empowerment part is safety, like my brother just said. If they don't feel safe going to the store, right? And if they don't have the money to go to the store,
Or it's not clean. It's not clean. Prices too high.
Or the service.
they can't go to the store. And
The
the
customer
store
service
is
is
gone,
bad.
right? So it's an ecosystem. It's an ecosystem that we have to look at. So what Sister was saying is that I really believe that we're looking at business support and consumer empowerment. And to staying on the correct path without doing too much, I believe that comes within doing meet and greets, business meet and greets, and then also resource fairs, right? Where after the businesses meet and greet or they talk, we have a list of businesses, now we can provide a place where we have where the agencies and organizations that can support them are there to do intake. And we're out, right? That's what we do. We do the events, we provide the location, We let the agencies and the organizations come in, right? They table, they do the activations with the people. That's it. You can do that
That should
quarterly.
be our theme right there. I mean,
Yeah, you know, there's other.
I think she's asking for a mission statement.
Yeah, mission
I get that. I'm just kind of
So I guess
putting in the broad
First, you have to put the language in place.
That incorporates that.
I'm gonna go back to, I'm just spewing out ideas. Cause Vanessa, you said brainstorm. Business directory.
Yes.
That's an idea. And for like, again, for consumers, for businesses. And then I just want to reiterate, I know someone said earlier, we already know what they want. But also part of relationship and building trust, you know, you may know, but let's ask also. Let's follow up with the people that already came to the event and let's ask, how cool will it be to, whether it's through a survey or whatever, however you want to do it, to later see something, you know, that a person had a concern about and we connected them to the resource or to whatever their concern is. Yes, you have your standard, we need capital, lighting, but let's also try to, you know, there are some nuances. And so I think that's part of the relationship building and trust. So it is important, I think, to ask, you know, for that. So, but yes, and I'll continue to think of ideas.
Yeah, I know that the whole board asked for, before the holiday season last year, they wanted like a list of businesses that they could support in our neighborhood. So maybe a goal we could have is to have it done by like early November, a complete list. Yeah, so we can like.
I want to do like a shop local or, you know, some people, including me, don't know all the businesses that are on the corridor. You just know Glen, for various reasons. So if we highlight certain things, maybe that would encourage folks to go into the business.
Exactly, and as a new resident, like where do I go to find, you know what I mean? Like to find out about my new neighborhood and the different businesses that I can support, you know.
Facebook.
So, and I don't have a Facebook.
No. Some of the local Facebook groups are very helpful.
Yeah. You know what I just kind of came with, like, maybe we could do, like, you know, the ball crawl. Maybe we could do, like, a business crawl. Yeah, just kind of have it, like, let's go take and just walk, you know.
Love
and
that.
just go walk. Those are Masons, like, the ball crawl. They made a lot of money just kind of going out and how they made so a business crawl.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Corridor tour. Right?
I don't like that corridor tour. Come with us on a corridor. See, that's stuff you could do online. Like, that's fun. A little commercial video. Come on a corridor tour.
And we do it as a group, right?
Yeah.
So it's like 8 of us walking into the business and establishment. And then when we do that, the business owner, now we get to actually explain who we are, what we're doing, and now the ears are a little bit much wider when we're talking to them, right? And let them know how we're doing the corridor tour. You want to be a part of the next one? Right? We're just doing it sporadically, but if you want to be a part of the next one, right?
Yeah, do that, you build a relationship, you build,
Absolutely.
you know, we'll connect with them individually.
Tim Davis for the house.
Also, I'm sorry, using the digital voting NYC to highlight certain businesses throughout the month. Link NYC has certain months that they do
Right
highlight
there.
certain types of.
Anybody can do it for free.
Yeah.
Wow.
Does CB9 larger have a social media person?
I think it's Dante.
It's done, Khalid.
Staff does social media, I don't do this.
That's not me.
That's not me.
Like, just not like
I have too much reading to do every day.
to be on social media posting.
No, but I was gonna say sort of full circle, if there is any sort of, you know, if we're thinking about incentivizing businesses to engage in any way. Right, we can say like, go in, have a conversation, can we take your picture, we'll post you sometime next week, tell people about your store, your business, and even just sort of this, it's like PR, and doing something for free for somebody, I think it just gets people.
Or like a weekly business shout out.
Yeah.
Right, in the newsletters to kind of get. Are we allowed to do that? Are we allowed to do that?
You know, that's
a lot of work.
I don't know.
It is, I just want to be careful about that because I'm not sure, as a government agency, I don't know how much we can go into that.
Into that, so.
I mean, like, we did a business director, I think, everybody's in there.
Yeah.
We're good, we're safe, but if we did like, yeah.
Specific shout outs.
Oh,
Go to
you
Joe's
can't-
Pizza.
We can't do it.
Shout
We can't do it.
Yeah.
What?
We cannot do it as a, being a government.
Right.
So maybe like,
Well, I'm not, I don't want to say no, I don't, I think that's what comes to mind, and, you know, if that's something you're looking at. let me know.
Wait. This would be in the terms of the charter, right? The charter, like if we can do something like that, that would be in the New York City Charter and the Robert Rules of Order.
A shout out sounds like a promotion, right? If you pick one person. If you do a corridor tour, these are the 12 businesses we visited today. You take a picture of all 12.
Right.
Right.
See, we can have a mixture of things, right? So the corridor tour would be one thing, right? And then another initiative is where we can have CB9, what's your fave, right? Have residents stopping in their favorite restaurant, right? That's nothing on us, right? Tell us what's your favorite restaurant, your favorite businesses in your neighborhood. Go on your path. That's another way that we can help Richard.
Yeah.
And just go on, do something live.
So
So make a video.
it could be from a business, it could be from like you said, a person to a business, or a business to a business. Like tell another business to say, well, I do business with the printer shop.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Or
Yeah, like-
person to a business. So
Mhm.
then you kind of create that kind of ecosystem, you know, just everybody like, yeah, I like
Yeah,
that.
like that.
Yeah, let's go check it out. You know,
Like in our directory,
Yeah.
it might be like
you tell them.
businesses recommending other
Yeah, other businesses
businesses.
recommend other
It's
businesses,
like-
because it's a
yeah.
great business relationship.
What?
Yeah.
They do good business,
And other people would
can
trust
also
it
work.
more. So
Exactly.
like, oh, my favorite business loves
I mean,
this
that's what I
business.
listen to, person like
Yeah.
that listen to, you say,
Yeah.
It's true.
Well, to that point, I want to chime in a little bit. Within PLG, there's a large network of those Facebook groups. You
I'm
have
sorry.
The Facebook.
Facebook group.
Oh,
We
Facebook.
also, one company has been getting pretty big, which is next door, where all the businesses, you keep getting an invitation. This is a business in your neighborhood. And I think in addition to bringing the people, I think we should reach out to these people also and have them, because what they are doing, you say, I'm a business, there's something called Alignable. I'm in a business in that area.
Absolutely.
okay,
Good.
So,
Good platform.
because what they have also is people's recommendation. For example, I needed to get a pair of glasses. What my wife does is to go on the group and see what recommendation they have.
It's a great-
well, that's like what a Discord
We
does.
should
so
have a
something-
alignable.
Yeah, but that's, Discord does that, right? Like,
Right,
people
but something
kind of-
like that. So
people who
you say, well, for example, one of the major group would be Parks or Parents. They put a lot of stuff on.
Yeah.
you know,
So you go on there, you said, I'm looking for a optical place, which one? And then you could start reading, you say, I've been to this one, this is what happened, I've been to this one, but I think in terms of that, we should get them involved.
Also, Alignable will tell you if there's a new business that popped up in your area.
okay.
I think the good thing about Alignable is that there's no like haters really on there.
Yeah,
like,
I
I haven't
Facebook.
experienced any of that. That's it.
So maybe it might be a more neutral place to check out business.
Yeah,
Instead of
it is.
Alignable.
It's
Yeah.
I still don't really know what it is.
I don't really
I
get
think
it
that-
really either.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why there's no haters on it yet.
No,
It's,
it's just
Not
connects
enough, not
people.
enough people.
Connects you to
That's how you
people
got here,
in
yeah.
like a geographic area in adjacent industries. Hey Louisa, you have a blank business, you should meet Vanessa, she just opened her business
Correct.
in whatever neighborhood. And I guess you can connect, but the people that I got connection,
Yeah.
it's new.
That's new.
yeah, it's
It
supposed
has
to
to
be
be
a.
really simple for folks, right? To use and to understand how they can use it.
Yeah,
Hopefully
but I
they
think
wanna use it.
I think what's really cool is that we started coming up with strategies that feel like they're supporting businesses by also supporting community members.
Yeah.
To be aware of the businesses so that the businesses can provide for the community members, right?
Yep.
And I think that's, I like that as the driving force for future.
Now, what that, you know, like I said, I always want to be very careful about what we promote, but maybe a way out of this, I'm not sure if, you know, where Alano's sales team or whatever else is, but you could always do that as a value add, where it's like, okay, well, listen, you can ask them to come and do a presentation for local businesses.
Yeah.
So they can tell, you know, we're not endorsing, we're not telling you what to use or not use, but they can explain to you what they do. And you as a business, now that we made that connection, can figure out, is that something that works for you?
Yeah.
You can go with them if you wish, or you don't have to, but at least maybe you come away from a little bit more understanding. And I think it's really critical. It's one of those things in my head. I think we really need to start helping businesses with e-commerce, because that is starting to become such a big part where it's like I probably leave a lot of money on the table. Where the people who come through my door, okay, that's a piece of it. If you're a restaurant, maybe if now I'm using DoorDash or one of these other things, that's another thing. But if you can figure out how to get extra revenue streams by just being out there on the internet and being in e-commerce, that might be helpful as well. And even just in general terms. So, I mean, you might be somebody who wants to start a business, but you say, listen, commercial rent is ridiculous on the corridor, but that doesn't necessarily stop you where it's like there's other lines of more ways of making money that you can promote entrepreneurship.
Yeah. Well, let's be clear. Technology is key. That's where it's going. And all these businesses need to get on that forefront. Period. I'm just telling you.
So like, no one's
We should be helping, supporting them to try to figure it out, or value added. So that's where it's going. And if they don't, they're going to get shut down.
I'm so glad you said that, because as we was talking, I was thinking that even though we're putting together a program and stuff, it'd be great to kind of like have a theme for the season. And I'm thinking like, with everything going on and how the economy is changing, are consumers prepared and are businesses prepared, right? And I feel like that theme and how we theme the event should kind of be around, are you prepared? Is your business prepared for the next disaster, for the next COVID, for the next change, or whatever? Consumers, are you prepared, right? For the new businesses that's coming in, right? Prices change. Are you prepared? Right? Just like how you were saying, if you don't have the money, right? So what type of resources and support can we give to consumers along with the businesses to have them prepared for their future?
Just inspired by that. It would be great if we were able to do some kind of a workshop, a series of workshops, business in the 21st century.
Yeah.
And we can talk about many different topics.
Office
How do you
readiness,
incorporate technology?
office
How do you do this? Business structures, and have somebody come talk about what they can do for you, the pros and the cons, and what helps you with that.
What you need to be looking at,
What you need to be looking at, spaces, where it's going.
Based on feedback of what they want, though, so they can show up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the number you try. That's the case. Directory, a survey,
Already from the last workshop.
Okay.
So we can probably start there and try to target that. And then, again, at our next event, right, we have maybe a little workshop, a little bit of time of networking, resources available, and then, again, ask for feedback.
Right.
So we can continue to cycle that.
Back to brainstorming, Vanessa, 3 things. And I'm gonna take you up on your statement.
No ideas about it.
Okay. All right, so here we go. Right, okay, here we
Bring a
go.
hurricane coming.
No. I mean, I think some of them might not be practical, some of them would be weird, but again, brainstorming. So what about something like business buddies or business mentors? Again, if we're helping them to foster relationships with one another, someone within an area who's been in business long, or you compare with someone new, right, so maybe that. And then also, Lord, it just slipped my mind. Good gracious, okay, I'll get back to you.
Okay.
I had
But I
one
like
more.
business
for the
centers,
Merchants
that's
Association.
fine.
Yeah. Or maybe we could have like maybe a networking event where it's like older businesses meet younger businesses and
Yeah.
getting people to show up and help.
And also with the surveys, we should actually do a survey for the consumers, right? If we do a consumer survey, we can actually provide that to the businesses as an added value, right? Do you know how your consumers in the neighborhood feel about the local businesses, about your business, right? That's something that we can give to the businesses.
How are we gonna do that?
What could be a nine?
Well, the same way that they did the transportation feedback meeting, where it was just everybody was able to come online. We had the project, people got to share their feedback, their opinions, what they
The
thought
bike lane?
about the bike lanes
Okay.
on
It was on
Kingston.
Zoom?
It was on Zoom. It was one of the feedback transportation committees that they did. It was just like, because that was one of the big things with transportation and the new bike lanes, especially on Kingston Avenue. There was a lot of remarks. There was at least 30 people on. I think it was like around 30 people.
Okay.
People were actively engaging. Ethan did great, like conducting
How
the.
did you get the word out?
That was something I was actually wanting to ask Dante, how they got the word out, how did they get people? I think that some people were saying putting up actual flyers around, but that's obviously depending on where and how. But I think they just sent it out via network. And
I mean, if we wanted to do a consumer survey, we could just flyer the neighborhood and have a QR code.
Right.
Be like
That's-
1 minute
That's
consumer
exactly
survey.
what I was thinking.
Yeah,
And then people just do it, like as they're walking down the
Correct.
and I
street.
think we could keep it narrow too.
Yeah.
The first one could be about food, and the
Yeah.
second one could be
Yeah,
about
definitely.
retailers. Then it's 4 questions.
Yeah.
Do you eat locally? Why, what impedes you from doing so? Does a
Right.
$5 coupon help?
Yeah,
But
but
you know,
sorry, I cut you off, so sorry, keep going. But I was gonna say, we could also put the flyers for the businesses that we work with. Hey, do you wanna know about your clientele and what they're looking
Yeah,
for?
absolutely.
Keep this flyer, whenever you have people come in,
Beautiful.
instruct them to say, if you wanna, if I can improve my services for you as a consumer, like, what would you wanna see me as a business do? That's something that, like, we could also maybe throw
Yeah.
out, and, like, provide possibly.
These are all great.
Absolutely.
there are no better.
Yeah, no, but it's like almost 9 o'clock,
Okay,
so, a couple things. I think we should look at a calendar next month and really like try to hone in on what we can accomplish. Maybe pick like 2 or 3 things that we think we can do, and then figure out who can help us with each thing, because,
But I'm gonna kind of piggyback what's your name?
Louisa.
Louisa, we need to get the language in place. I mean, I'm a writer, so like, just get the language and then let's start with that, and then we can come down. So that's just my thing.
Okay.
You know, mission statement, that's what it is. Like,
Okay, do you guys feel, that consumer empowerment and business
goals
support?
and objectives.
Yeah, so we can,
Oh, for next week, the next, I think we should look at a calendar, figure out like what we could actually accomplish. Kind of like plot out like seasonally,
okay.
and then like figure out what our exact mission statement is,
Exactly,
maybe
yeah.
next week and like
Yeah.
finalize it. Because we have to do the,
Because once we have that, we're in alignment, we know what it is, we stay on course, we can kind of see, you know, so. Just to keep on track.
yeah, and then when we get, into like event details, we can figure out like, we can probably get all of this into different things, you know what I mean? Yeah,
Like seasonally or quarterly.
Yeah, so
Could
I
we
just
all
want to
agree?
maybe we can figure it out next time, like what we think we can accomplish as a group.
Could we all agree that maybe the business support and the consumer empowerment is our
I like it.
Yeah, I like it.
That's good, good 2 ways.
Do we vote on it?
I think we should marinate and then.
Yeah, let's marinate, I agree.
Yeah. But it's
Let's
good.
define-
I'm gonna
finalize
throw
it
this,
next
this audio recording into AI and see what comes out of
Yeah.
it, so.
Well, let me ask,
I cannot
is it the wording? Because what's there to marinate on, right? We already know that we're looking for business support. And then consumer empowerment, which is brought in, and we kind of talked about that. Is that
Well,
what's
I
the
think we want to
marinade on?
flesh it out a little bit further.
And going back to my plug, on the 26th, we're doing the community engagement piece.
Yeah.
So I think hopefully, if we're pushing this is an opportunity to see what else people want to see, you know. When they talk about economic development, hopefully it adds that, so, you know, it may add, so it's like, some of your items might come up again and again and again. If you see it 10 times, maybe that's one of the things.
Yeah, exactly.
But you're right.
You know, we give it
I
a
like
chance
this.
for, you know, see what else comes out, see
I'm just
what the
thinking.
crowd says.
No, I get that. I just want to know. So maybe I'm missing something as well. that I
No,
wanna
you
know about
don't
too.
want, you won't do that. I mean, but I guess usually one idea is you either want a thing to, you know, come just to put something else mixed up from that. But it's a great
I
idea.
think we're
I like it.
building, it's building off of that, right? Our
Yeah.
goal is to foster this, achieve
Yeah.
this,
Yeah.
whatever, by,
Okay.
do it by building community engagement and supporting businesses.
I like it. I like it. But it doesn't hurt to have a day or two just to flush it out.
Louisa's AI,
I took a lot more notes than I expected, but I did record this and.
Okay.
What app was it?
I ended up just using my regular audio
Oh, okay.
note, but I can upload
Okay,
that file
please.
into like a
Is it
efficiency.
that does it?
Yes.
Or-
Yeah, it is.
great, love it. All right,
that's
so,
something. What time
Anybody else have anything to
Oh, I
say?
think it was good.
All right, meeting adjourned,
Oh, yeah.
8:51.
All right.
And see you guys in a couple weeks
Yeah.
at our general board meeting if you're there, otherwise next month.
Okay, yes.
Awesome. Nice to see everybody. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for staying.
Like rock and roll.
Hey, how you been?
Good, how are you?
Hanging in there. Up with it all. Yeah, 'cause of the license.
Are we again?